As the 19th largest economy worldwide, Turkey maintains a GDP of approximately $906 billion. Over the past decade, the nation has focused on ambitious reforms, leading to high growth rates from 2006 to 2017, which lifted it to the higher echelons of the upper middle income status and reduced poverty. However, a slowdown in productivity growth and a shift to supporting growth with credit booms and demand stimulus have resulted in intensifying internal and external vulnerabilities. The Turkish economy has been further challenged by a series of unfortunate events, including high inflation, high unemployment, macro-financial instability, and natural disasters, most notably two destructive earthquakes in February 2023. The current state of the Turkish economy is dire, burdened by a substantial international debt of $451 billion and a persistent current account deficit due to high energy and commodity prices. Additionally, the depreciation of the local currency hasn't curbed the demand for imported goods enough to balance the deficit. In light of these mounting economic woes, Turkey will undoubtedly face a challenging road ahead. Before we move forward, click that like and subscribe button and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. This channel will keep you updated on the most intriguing videos on economic topics around the world. Turkey's GDP has been on a downward trajectory after a promising start in 2023, largely due to a series of economic woes. The country recorded a 3.5% growth in the first quarter of 2023. Buoyed by a pre-election spending and robust household consumption. However, projections indicate that this growth will slow down to 1.6% in the second quarter and 2.7% for the entirety of 2023. This contrasts significantly with the impressive growth rates Turkey experienced from 2006 to 2017. A period during which the country rose to high-level middle-income status and effectively halved poverty. The World Bank attributes this growth to ambitious reforms, but also highlights that this growth momentum has dwindled in the past decade due to a shift towards supporting growth with credit booms and demand stimulus. Several factors have contributed to Turkey's economic slowdown. High private sector debt, persistent current account deficits, elevated inflation, and unemployment have all aggravated the nation's macro-financial instability since August 2018. The most alarming factor is the soaring inflation rates, expected to hit 58% by the end of 2023, more than double the central bank's previous estimate of 22.3%. The increasing inflation and high unemployment have fueled the ongoing cost of living crisis, creating an adverse environment for economic growth. In addition to the structural economic factors, the impact of two catastrophic earthquakes in February 2023 has strained the already fragile economic state. These natural disasters caused significant physical damage in provinces accounting for 16.4% of Turkey's population and 9.4% of its economy. Direct losses are estimated at $34.2 billion, but the reconstruction needs could be double. This has increased pressure on the country's fiscal situation, further hampering GDP growth. As Turkey navigates these challenges, it's clear that the path towards economic recovery and stability will be arduous. Turkey's economy is currently suffering a significant cost of living crisis, largely attributed to President Erdogan's unconventional economic policies. The crisis has led to a massive erosion of purchasing power, with citizens struggling to afford even basic necessities. In April 2023, food prices rose by 54% year-on-year, reflecting a broader inflationary trend that peaked in October 2022 at 85.5%. Despite some recent cooling, June's year-on-year inflation rate was still alarmingly high at 38.21%. The Turkish currency, the lira, has depreciated, and this has been a significant contributor to the crisis. It lost 44% in 2021 and 30% in 2022, shedding a total of 76% under Erdogan's second term. Unorthodox policies, geopolitical developments, and disputes with the US have all played a role in this depreciation. The lira's plunge is reigniting cost pressures and contributing to continued inflation. President Erdogan and his government implemented an unorthodox policy of lowering interest rates to boost economic growth and increase production from late 2021. While this policy was part of a broader vision to create an independent economy, it also led to increasing inflation, which reached a new 24-year high of 85.5% in October. This surge in inflation prompted the government to adopt an interventionist policy and stabilize interest in foreign currency exchange rates. However, these efforts were undermined by high bank loan rates, which made economic growth more challenging. Despite these measures, the lira continues to devalue, with expectations that the exchange rate might reach 25 or even 30 to the dollar. As of June 2023, the inflation rate had increased to 38.21% on a year-on-year basis. The central bank responded by raising the key interest rate from 8.5% to 15%, and is expected to respond to this ongoing crisis by increasing interest rates to around 25 to 30%. The country's economic crisis is further compounded by the current unemployment situation. The unemployment rate in Turkey has hovered around 10% over the past year, but in May 2023 it fell to 9.5%, marking the lowest rate since 2014. This decrease represents a reduction of 193,000 in number of unemployed people to 3.328 million, alongside an increase of 63,000 employed individuals to 36.716 million. Nonetheless, the gender disparity in unemployment remains significant, with a jobless rate of 7.7% for men and a higher rate of 13% for women. Another crucial component is the youth unemployment rate for those aged between 15 and 24 years, which was at 1% down by 1.6%. In terms of the labour force participation, there was a slight decrease to 53.6% from 53.9% in April, and the employment rate remained stable at 48.5%. Projections suggest that the unemployment rate in Turkey is expected to be 10.2% by the end of the current quarter, and in the long term it is expected to hover around 12.5% in 2024 and 10.5% in 2025. These fluctuations reflect the dynamic nature of the labour market and the impact of broader economic factors. The current economic state of Turkey is characterized by various challenges across key sectors, notably in tourism, retail trade, and catering, along with impacts to the broader economy. Tourism was once a vibrant part of Turkey's economy, flourishing due to developments in infrastructure, hotel construction, and country marketing. Before 2016, the thriving sector brought in revenues equivalent to 3.7% of GDP and generated 600,000 jobs, accounting for 2.3% of total employment. Additionally, 1 million more jobs emerged in related sectors, including restaurant and leisure industries. However, the industry took a severe hit following a series of terrorist attacks and political turmoil. The number of European tourists fell by over 30% due to these incidents, affecting the revenue and employment generated by the sector. Besides, restrictions on charter flights and sales of travel packages led to a significant fall in the number of Russian tourists. The ripple effect of this decline has been felt across various sectors such as telecommunications, retail trade, textiles, restaurants, and transportation. The road to recovery is projected to be slow, as repeated incidents of violence tend to have long-lasting effects on tourist arrivals. The consequence of this decline in tourism have also been felt in the catering and retail sectors. With fewer tourists, there is less demand for these services, which, coupled with the broader economic challenges, has resulted in considerable pressure on these industries. Let's not forget about the environmental situation in Turkey, which has been under considerable strain, largely due to increasing population growth, industrialization, and rapid urbanization. These pressures have led to climate change, desertification, deforestation, water scarcity, nature degradation, and marine pollution. With an economy that has nearly tripled in the past 2 decades, the pursuit of economic growth poses significant challenges for environmental sustainability. The rise in population, coupled with urbanization, has escalated the demand for road transportation, leading to air pollution, especially in urban centers. The European Environment Agency reports that more than 97% of Turkey's urban population is exposed to unsafe levels of particulate matter pollution. As such, transportation-related emissions present a significant challenge, increasing the country's overall greenhouse gas emissions and contributing to climate change. Economic implications are intertwined with this environmental pressure, as Turkey aims to be among the world's top 10 economies by 2023. The nation's leaders must address these environmental issues without hindering economic growth. The rapid industrialization and modernization, largely driven by the privatization of state-run industries, has brought prosperity but also led to environmental degradation. Since the 1980s, Turkey has made progress in addressing these environmental challenges through legislation and institutional practices. Notably, the enforcement of environmental laws has led to improvements in several environmental indicators, such as a 29% decrease in air pollution from PM10 and a 43% decrease in air pollution from SO2 from 2007 to 2010. As Turkey converges with the EU environmental acquis, comprehensive and costly investment is required in areas like environmental monitoring, inspection, and reporting. For example, the former 10th Development Plan underscored the importance of sustainable development and growing Turkey's renewable energy sector, particularly wind and geothermal power. Although these policies may have short-term economic costs, they are necessary for long-term environmental sustainability and economic resilience. Turkey's environmental situation and its economic implications present a delicate balance, but it's crucial for the country to maintain its economic momentum without mitigating environmental degradation. Ensuring sustainable development requires robust environmental policies, even if these involve substantial investments and economic trade-offs in the short term. The future prospects for the Turkish economy are complex. On the one hand, the country has shown resilience in the face of adversity, as seen in the aftermath of the recent earthquakes and the steady recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Pre-election spending and reconstruction efforts are expected to support growth, which is forecast at 3.2% in 2023 and 4.3% in 2024. The recent shift towards more orthodox economic policies after President Erdogan's re-election, including the central bank's hike in interest rates, may aid in stabilizing the economy and tempering inflation. Nevertheless, chronic issues such as low labor force participation, widespread informality, rigid employment rules, and a high share of low-quality employment still need to be addressed for sustained economic development. But now we'd like to hear from you. What do you think about the current economic state of Turkey? Do you think the country will continue its rise to a top 10 powerhouse, or will it need a significant change in power and policies for that to happen? Let me know in the comments of your thoughts, perspectives, and questions. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.